AI can generate surprisingly good 3D characters in just minutes, but they are completely dead and static. The question is, can I bring them alive and make talk and emote? Yes, we can do that. In this video, I take AI-generated character head and turn it into fully animated talking avatar with proper face rig, working expressions, and real-time face tracking. I will walk you through entire process from generating the model, cleaning it up, building the face rig, and finally, we're gonna test it live. This is by far one of the coolest video I ever made on my channel. Alright guys, Steph here, and finally, we're gonna make talking avatar. I know plenty of you were asking, and it is now possible with how AI advanced, and you'll see what I'm talking about. But first, we of course need to start with the concept. So I got this cool concept. Let me know if you can guess what is the style here and what is the character behind I was inspired by. Okay, so since we're gonna make face rig in the first place, I'm not gonna focus on the body. There's plenty of video on my channel how to create body. That's way easier than the face. And the next step was to extract the face with the neck alone. Here we go. Right now, I want to separate head and all the accessories, such as hair. And if you want glasses, you need to separate glasses or any object that is not the face. So here's the perfect example. And the hair, we're gonna generate separately. And most important step, we're gonna generate image with mouse open. Just like that. This is the crucial step since we're gonna animate mouse and we need that inside space to be a mesh together with tongue and teeth. And there's a reason why I didn't want to make this video before, because most of 3D AI generators fail to do that space. So here is the Hunyon 3.1. What do we have here? So here I tried the same prompt because we need to optimize it anyway. I generated with 15K and thought I'm gonna use optimization later. In Hunyon, you have to do that in 2 steps. You first need to generate the mesh. And the result is terrible. At least it is terrible for my needs. I tried to do the same in Studio, the same result, they use the same model, and you can see all the parts basically connected quite strong. And another thing that I wasn't able to create hair, it was creating me, who's that, like a Donald Trump or what? I mean, here's the image prompt I used, and that happened at least twice. This is terrible and unusable. And luckily for us guys, we do have Tripo. I'm not even talking about the flagship model, which is 3.1 and gives way better quality. As per my humble opinion, if you do not trust my humble opinion, there is also Top 3D AI where there is almost 100K votes from you guys, and it is already holding top 1 position almost for a month. And let me show you what makes it possible to face rig characters right now. So here I generated the head with the hair just for a test in 3.1. The mouse is a bit open, right? But it's not exactly what I want, right? So first of all, you can see the teeth and all the stuff. There's sort of like one object. For face rig, we actually need to separate teeth, mouse, eyelashes, and brows. Using this model will be a nightmare. However, they recently released Smart Mesh, which allow you to drop an image and generate a low poly mesh right away. And here you can see on the right screen, I did some tests already. It might not happen from first attempt, but it consistently gives good results. So I was using few different settings to figure out which one the best. Here, for example, I generated with 8,000 triangles. And what we can see here, the eyelashes is really nice. It is very easy to separate them as I want. But the brows are missing and inside mouse is also missing. So I tested like 2 more options in 10, 14, 15K polygons, and here we got like way better results. So first of all, we do have teeth, we do have tongue, which is separated. This is just most important. You might say there are like some minor imperfections, which we can address very easy in Blender. And for some reason, the shading problems here on low poly mesh, but yeah, that's also very easy to fix. Eyelash separatable. Here's one more example. The cool thing also about it that Smart Mesh creates like in 5 seconds. Guys, I made a separate video about Tripo, and I made it because I want to make a video about it. That's just like a next gen, guys. Me and all my team using that. And if you want to try it out right now, there will be a promo code with huge discount. I try to make the biggest discount I can for you guys. Right now, in this very moment, this is best 3D AI 100%. Okay, so you can see like it creates like it's very fast, so you can iterate fast. In Hunyuan, that takes way longer. And before you can move to retopology, you have to create high poly, so you're like spending credits twice. And retopology, while they do have quads and mesh, might look visually better, not really technically better. And it also fails quite a lot, and you need to retry still, and that takes like way longer. Generating good reference with Tripo took me like few minutes, and waiting for failed generation in Hunyuan took me 15 minutes. And here's my final mesh. By the way, I decided to go with this because I do have brows, a separate mesh, eyelashes, upper and bottom teeth, the tongue, all perfect. When you're happy with geometry, you go to texture and basically press generate texture, and here we have the textured version. Just an amazing work. Yeah, there are small things on the eyelashes, that's fine. We're gonna still need to separate them, and we're gonna just apply a solid color. And one small thing here, also minor. This is the best result you can get with 3D AI so far, and the reason I actually can make this video finally for you guys, because separating teeth and tongue from high poly mesh, that's a nightmare. And there's even more you can do in Tripo. You can upscale texture, add a PBR, edit texture, and all that stuff. But I leave it to you to explore. We're gonna download the model and continue in Blender. Let's go. So you already might know the basic setup I'm gonna use here. I'm gonna assemble stuff. That's the first thing. Fix some shading, all that things. If you're struggling some of this, I do have very simple free YouTube course where I cover all the basics using Blender. Okay. So we're gonna position here in sculpting mode. I'm gonna adjust the shape, of course. And I also decided that I want to remove this part from the character. Okay, so just not looking that good as I wanted. Okay, we're gonna just remove it carefully, and then with the sculpting mode, of course, we're gonna adjust the shape like that. Okay, now let's go to edit mode, and we're gonna need to start to separate these parts. And here's the benefit of using Tripo. Again, like that's the only AI doing that good job right now. You can select few polygons of eyelash and then press Ctrl L, and this additional menu press seam, which will select all connected seams. And here you go. Just with one press of a button, I selected whole bottom eyelash. Gonna do the same thing for the bottom, and I gonna delete them. Yeah, I don't really need them for my character. I'll only keep the top one, but you can keep them if you want. Gonna do the same thing for the top lashes. Here with Ctrl L, I'm gonna choose UVs. In this case, it worked better, and I'm gonna try to select all of them. Just like that. Make sure you only select the eyelash part. And I also gonna select this part here with same approach by seam, and I'm gonna press P and separate selection. I will disconnect them later. Okay, so you can move them around. You can see it's separated. That's exactly what I need. Now in sculpt mode, I also adjusted the position of this guy. And here's how I will fix the texture. So I don't want to create a separate texture for the eyelashes, but I can actually select the whole eyelash here. I can re-unwrap it by angle based or anything. Then I go to UV, and I'll just scale the whole UV island and find some dark area, like which is this one, for example. And similar thing I'm gonna do for this. I'm gonna scale it to a small dot or something and locate it on texture map to take one solid color. Boom. And yep, here we go. Just need to adjust it to follow the shape on the face, just like that. And our eyelash is also completely black right now. There is some artifact of generation, just created some additional mesh. We're gonna just select it the same way and delete it. Now I did the same thing for the right eyelash and this thing. And now let's take care about the teeth. That they do have quite different shading right now. So what we're gonna do, we're gonna go to texture paint this time, and while the color map is selected, we can choose the brush, we can select all teeth. Again, I'm using Ctrl L and choosing like by seam, and because the mesh is actually logical, it works. I don't need to spend hours on this. And now basically when selected, I can go to texture paint and activate this paint mask, which will allow only paint on select selected objects. And we're gonna set the brush on some color, not like white, and with the fill brush, we're gonna make it that color. As easy as it can be with Faceit the teeth. Again, without logical mesh, that's very difficult. It's basically easier to make it from scratch than explain how to fix it. Now the last part is to recreate eyes. We need them to be as spheres because the eyes will be moving around. Even though they look good here, we're gonna need to remove them. The flow here is simple, and to my surprise, they were actually created as spheres. But we're gonna replace them with our spheres with better UV. That's easy to do. So look, I just click on one vertex, press Ctrl L by seam, and it's already selected. How cool is that? So before removing them, I press P and separate them into one mesh because I want a reference mesh to position new eyeballs. So we're gonna go to mesh and create UV sphere. We're gonna scale it, rotate it 90 degrees so this part looks into the camera, and let's position it. And of course, you can press right click and make shade smooth, so it will be actually smooth. Now with Gemini, I generated this eye texture and we're gonna project it to our eye. So here's how I do that. I go to the eye, I'm gonna select the middle line and I'm gonna mark it as seam like that. Then I'm gonna press right click, unwrap angle based. Okay, now we can go to shading, select that eye, create new material and drag and drop this texture here. Okay, now we can go back to UV editing. Oops, need to select the eye, add our new eye. And here in edit mode, we just need to select these islands and position them like that. We don't need that another half of the eye. And here is the trick. We can enable proportional editing here on top. And I'm gonna just try scale the middle part like that, pushing all stuff to the sides, just like that. And we do have our eye set. You can control the scale. There might be another options to do that. Let me know in the comments if there are any experts like who can suggest even easier workflow. Okay, now we can actually delete the old eyes. Let's delete them. And for the eye here, we're gonna set origin to 3D cursor so we can use mirror modifier like that. Okay, that's pretty awesome. I mean, like I did it like very fast. Now there will be a step that will require a little bit of your patience. So we're gonna need to adjust shape of teeth. Tongue really is very good here. So we're gonna need to adjust shape of teeth, about bottom teeth, and most importantly, we're gonna need to close the mouse while keeping them separated. That's the whole thing. Okay, so here's how I did that. I first separated teeth and tongue. That you're gonna need to do that anyway. And look, it is already hollow inside, which is amazing. And then I started to use mask to mask the bottom part of the mouse so I can focus on the top part. And then I'm basically gonna use elastic wrap and some brushes like that. I'm using this brush in every my video, and there's a dedicated video about sculpting. This is an amazing tool, especially working with AI generated models. So we're gonna need to close the mouse, and not only to close, then we're gonna need to adjust the overall shape of the chin, cheeks and stuff if you are not happy with it. For the teeth and tongue, we're gonna also adjust them to follow closed mouse. So sort of like try to close it, right? So if they are separated, like you can go to do that in edit mode. Again, it's not that difficult when the mesh is logical. So I just adjusted a little bit. So here we go. Here you can see my final result for this stage. And now we're ready to start face rig. And we're gonna need a Blender add-on called Faceit, which is by far the best tool that making this face rig accessible for everyone. Unfortunately, there is no free version of it, but I really recommend it, and I don't really know alternatives right now that can do same good job and give you that much of control. I'm using this add-on for more than 5 years since it was ever released, and I never regret it. I know it might be expensive, so for you guys, whoever will first guess right which two recognizable character I mixed to get this one and what style I'm using here, I'm gonna buy this Faceit add-on for you myself. And also we're gonna refer to documentation about ARKit, and for the face expression we're gonna use two of them. We're gonna use Visemes and ARKit 52 shape kits, and Visemes is around 20 plus. I'm gonna drop the documentation link in the description, but you don't really need to care about it with the add-on. So how do you install add-on? You basically get the zip file, you go to preference, add-on, install from disk, select that zip file and make sure it is activated. Okay, there are plenty of instruction on Faceit, YouTube, and stuff, so you can refer there too. But here's my workflow with this plugin. First of all, open it here on the right menu. There's a Faceit, and here's how it looks. First, we're gonna need to select the objects, except here, all objects that needs to be face rigged. And we're gonna press register face object. So that's the first and most important thing. And here we're gonna need to map them to these options here. So basically select eyes, teeth, tongue, eyelash, facial hair such as brows, and objects that need to remain rigid, such as these things on our face, or anything like nose ring, chains. So let's do that. I'm basically will go through each object. I'm maybe gonna need to separate some objects like these things. So I'm gonna need to select them, press P, selection, separate in an object like brows, and this thing here you see I'm just separating it. You can also go in edit mode and select some particular mesh and then assign it like this if you want to keep eyes as one object. So here we go. Okay, so it looks like I actually assigned everything, and to verify there is a button show unassigned. So I'm gonna press it. Okay, it doesn't show anything, means that all registered objects, make sure they are in this list. If they are not in this list, it will not check if it's assigned or not. But in my case, I did it all right. Okay, and now we can actually move to the rig stage. And here first we need to generate landmarks. When you're gonna press this button, it will take you to the front view, and you're gonna need with your mouse to position this mask. So this mask is quite self-explanatory, right? When you position it, your view will be locked, and you just need to position them right. There's instruction on the official website. It's very simple to do. Just drag and drop these vertices to follow your shape exactly. So this line, for example, goes by the lip center and stuff. This must be end of the chin. This might be here, here, and so forth. You can just simply follow what I'm doing. When you position them from the front view, there is another button, Project Landmarks, that will project it on the face. We're gonna press it, and now we're gonna need to adjust it from this side. Here we go. Okay, just make sure this one should be here. Okay, and pretty much it's all good. Now we can double check and see like if every dot that mask is followed nicely, and we can press generate the face rig. Let's go. And what's happened now, it assigns some bones that will help you to create emotions. Here's my settings, it's pretty default settings that I'm gonna use, but just so you see. And we're gonna press OK and wait a little bit. Now here in pose mode, we can actually play around with it. Look, you can drag this part and like the eyes will follow. Cool. Now we're gonna need to go to expressions, and here we're gonna press load Faceit expressions, and here's the whole advantage of using this one. In one click we can add ARKit. If you're using NVIDIA audio to face, you can generate audio to face. Phonemes is basically Visemes. Okay, we're gonna choose ARKit, and now we can see the list of all shape keys. So here's the cool thing, you can actually click on each of them and see how it looks. For example, the eye blink left is not really that nice, so you can actually fix it. We're gonna press on the head, press on this one, and on the head we're gonna in sculpt mode, which is automatically opened, which is amazing. We can just simply adjust the shape. Again, this is the blink emotions. You don't need to do that like very perfect, that happens very fast, but still you can adjust it. Maybe you want to fix texture even. Okay, like that, you can go through each shape key. Most of them will be pretty nice, but in case you're not happy, just fix it. Like in my case, I wanted to fix a tongue out. It should be somewhere here. It was too low. Okay. Also, I'm gonna add phonemes expression, which will be the Visemes. And here, by the way, I don't know why it's selected override by default, but we're gonna need to change to append because we need both of them. Gonna change to append, okay, and press OK. And here we see all these phonemes. Gonna also go through them and fix. When you are happy with it, we can go to bake. All right, so it's time to actually bake this into the shape keys, which can be used by Unreal Engine, any VTuber software, like whatever you need. Basically, it's very flexible depending on the software where you want to use it. You might export them in different ways. Here's the settings that I use to bake it. Gonna press OK. Here we go. Now, if I go to the object, we can see that I have quite a lot of shape keys, and I can actually play around with them. There is also an animation. This is a test animation. If we open the timeline, you can see this test animation that basically to check each shape key. We don't really need it, so we're gonna select it and delete. Now, from this stage, you basically have a face rig ready. We have ARKit and Visemes. You can also try to export skeleton rig, but I'm gonna show you how to preview that in VTuber software such as VSeeFace. It's quite a cool tool. We're gonna need to download the VRM add-on and the VSeeFace as well. Both tools are free. So I'm gonna join the object in one head, enable here. Now I already showed more details in my previous video about how to create anime character. We're gonna use the same add-on and same flow. In VRM add-on, I'm gonna press create VRM model. Okay, so that will create a skeleton and I'm gonna position head on it. So what I'm gonna need to do is to assign the head bone to my head. But before I do that, in edit mode, I'm gonna move the head bone like this. Then I'm gonna go to object mode and assign 100% weight to the hair. When that's done, in pose mode, we can confirm everything works. Awesome. Now it's actually time to map our keys to VRM Blendshapes proxy. This might not be needed for another software, but for VRM, we need to map it. Here's the logic here. You basically open this menu, VRM Blendshapes proxy, and here you can see some basic set. So we're gonna go through each, and here in bins, gonna press plus, select the object, like let's say blink R, you're gonna select head object and choose the right name of the shape keys that do this blink R, and you can try it right here. This is the reason why I joined all the objects, since if you have few objects, you're gonna need to select each of them and name that shape key. Like blink, for example, we'll use two shape keys. We're gonna choose I blink left and we're gonna choose I blink right. And for the rest of shape keys, you can choose whatever shape keys you want to use. Those generic A, E, etc. are easily mapped to this shape keys. You can also confirm that with the documentation. However, if you want to use ARKit with VRM, you're gonna need to add them by yourself manually. So here's how you can actually do that. Copy the name of the ARKit, it is right, press plus button in the name, paste that I look out right, and bind the same shape keys here from the head mesh. And you're gonna need to do that 52 times, unfortunately, but that's only if you want to use ARKit in your VTuber software, like together with your VRM model. All right, so I'm gonna do that behind the scene, and here we go. Here's my final list of shape keys. Very important if you want to use VSeeFace, the same I want. You're gonna need to use the VRM 0 version, not the 1 version, and you must make sure each blend shape is actually bind to something, and do not delete the basic one, just bind them to something. If you don't have any idea for emotion, just bind it to bases like this. You have to choose that blend shape, and if you want to make it static, you cannot leave it empty like this. You're gonna add something, plus plus, choose head object, and in shape key, you can just select bases. That will not do anything, but it's very important for VRM export. And the last thing I'm gonna do is that when you have VRM add-on activated, I'm gonna go to material and press this enable VRM M-Tune shader. Boom. Gonna do that for head and face and set the shading a little bit. Here we go. And it looks way better now. Now, if you did everything right, we're gonna select all of these objects and go to file, export, and export VRM. You will only have this option if add-on is installed. And now the fun part. Let's open VSeeFace. And here we're gonna press add avatar. We're going to choose the camera and microphone. Then let's press add an avatar and select our VRM model. Okay, here we go. And now it is already following your webcam. How cool is that? What you see right now, those are basically Visemes. I'm always confused how to pronounce it right. Visemes, Visemes. However, we can also test ARKit here, but it will require additional settings. From the webcam, it only tracks Visemes. We're gonna go to general settings, and here we're gonna need to find eye facial mocap. Gonna need to activate it. I'm gonna choose VTube Studio, and if you have iPhone and your computer and phone connected to same network, in VSeeFace you can actually connect it through VTube Studio. This is another application you put on the phone, do some preparation, and in VTube Studio we're gonna need to find third-party PC clients and activate it. Okay, one, and it's already connected, which is awesome. And here you just need to get that IPv4, which you're gonna enter in VSeeFace here. And now we have the face tracking. How cool is that? There are a lot of settings, how smooth you can make it, like you can set auto blinking, For example, that's extremely cool. Just look at this, guys. And of course, you can go back to Blender and adjust that face trick, make expression more expressive, and so forth and so forth. Especially if you're making non-human faces, you might play around with it, and it's very easy to do that in this setup. Now I'm holding the phone and it actually follows my head. I can blink, I can talk, and I can even stream that into the OBS. And I've just become a VTuber with my own AI generated character. How cool is that?